Well, Rebecca Zung is one of the top divorce attorneys in the country, based right here in California. She's worked with some of the biggest celebrities and notable business titans in the entertainment industry, and she's also a best-selling author. So how are relationships and divorcing faring now during the pandemic? She joins us now to discuss. Welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So great to see you. And of course, during this pandemic, it's put a strain on relationships and marriages because we're kind of shut in and we're spending a lot of time with each other. Have you noticed an unfortunate boom in your business?
Yeah, there was actually a huge spike back in June when people came out of the initial lockdown. The numbers that I saw were that divorces were up 34% at that point.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. And I know you have an interesting specialty. You specialize in narcissists, which, you know, as far as I know, just kind of armchair psychology. They're very difficult to deal with. There's almost no way to get through to them. Talk to me why you chose that specific personality type.
Well, so I really focus on negotiating with narcissists in general, whether it's in divorce or business or any kind of negotiation situation. I have had to deal with the most difficult personalities on the planet, having been a divorce attorney for over 20 years, and I've only ever practiced in high net worth, complex divorce litigation. So, you know, lots of narcissists there. So I've worked with them in my practice as clients, as opposing counsel, sometimes even judges. So, you know, I really had honed my skill as an attorney in negotiation, but then I just really have seen a huge need for helping people in dealing with narcissists. And I've read a lot about it, I've studied a lot about it, and I've figured out a methodology that actually works to get narcissists to actually resolve cases.
Wow. Well, that is quite a breakthrough because obviously they're a difficult personality type to deal with. So you must have great negotiating skills and great strategy for that. So are there any tips that you could give viewers as far as how to kind of get yourself out of a marriage without all of the extra expense? And there's just so much that goes into it that's very traumatic.
Well, I mean, definitely a lot of planning ahead. I mean, but the problem is when you're leaving a narcissist, usually you're like, you know, running away from a burning building almost in some ways. But, you know, if you can plan ahead and have strategy, I have my SLAY methodology is strategy, leverage, anticipate how they're going to be and be 2 steps ahead of them and focus on you, your case, and your position. And so having strategy created ahead of time and also really creating bulletproof, invincible leverage will help motivate and incentivize the narcissist to want to come to the table and have some sort of an equitable result.
That's interesting. So you sort of play into their hand a little bit, right? If you know how to work with that psychology, you know, you sort of make it work for your benefit, knowing what will kind of, you know, speak to a narcissistic personality.
Absolutely. You have to do it that way. Otherwise, you won't get anywhere.
Yeah, but that's so tough. Now, we mentioned that you've worked with a lot of celebrities and high-profile folks. I know, you know, confidentiality. You don't want to give anything away, but I know that you've had some experience with both politics and entertainment. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have had the great fortune of being able to work with really interesting people, high profile people who are up to really cool things. And, you know, it does add a lot of pressure to the case sometimes, not just from my part as the attorney, but also on the client's part as well, because they don't want people to know their business. They really don't want to be fighting in public. It's hard enough to get a divorce without the whole world watching. So it's definitely behooves them to try to come to a resolution behind closed doors as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and I know that, of course, celebrities are very, very concerned about their, you know, their personal lives. So where can our viewers reach you if they have questions or want to know more about your skills?
Well, I have a free Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet for everybody who's listening, and they can just get that at winmynegotiation.com. That's the URL, winmynegotiation.com. I also highly recommend people check out my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Rebecca Zung, or my website is rebeccazung.com.
That's terrific. Thank you. Great advice as we go, I think, a few more months at least, if not longer, through this pandemic. I'm sure you have lots of good advice to negotiate.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much. Happy holidays.
You too.
Thanks.